What's up, family and friends? Welcome to the Woke Nation, our nation of factual truth. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. Having fun and living your life as you ought to, because it's your life. And also encourage you to seek after knowledge, the knowledge, especially of yourself. You need to know yourself. That is the highest form of knowledge you can ever have. The knowledge of self. You need to know yourself. Because when you know yourself, you begin to understand that there's always a way for you. So I titled this, There is a Way for You. There is always a way for you. And you are the one that will make that way, or your fellow human being helping you to make that way. No God is going to make a way for you. No Jesus is going to make a way for you. No spirit is going to make a way for you. No ancestor is going to make a way for you. You are the one that must make a way for you. Make a way for you. There is always a way for you to make a way for you. What you allow is what will happen. Unless they force it on you, and if they force it on you, you are the one that will allow it to last or not to last. You are the one. There is not any God. So you see, forget the lies they told you in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Torah. Like in the book of Job, chapter 42, verse 2, he said, I know that you can do everything. Come on. And there's no purpose of yours that can be withheld from you. It's a lie. God cannot do anything. Job 42, verse 2 said that he knows that God can do everything. It's a lie. And that's the same thing the ministers are lying to you with. Telling you God can do this, God can do this, God cannot do anything. God is useless in reality. I've been saying this, and your God or their God has not come to prove me wrong. Their miserable lives is evidence of what I'm saying. Their sufferings, the violence, the injustice all over the world proves that God is useless in reality. It doesn't matter how many hours you spend praying to that God, crying to that God, fasting to that God, defending that God, preaching that God, teaching that God. The obvious truth is this. The factual truth is this. God is useless in reality. God cannot do anything, but you can do anything. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay, here, that's Old Testament, right? Job chapter 42, verse 2. Now, when you go to Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, hear what it says. For we know, the believers always claim to know when they are believers. You can't be a believer and be a knower at the same time. It's either you are a believer or a knower. You can't be, two of them does not go together. Knowledge and faith does not go together. Knowledge and belief does not go together. You have to separate them for you to make sense. If you are talking about what you believe, in other words, you cannot prove it. Of course, every wise person will agree with you. Okay, you believe, so you cannot prove it. But when you believe and at the same time claiming that it is truth, and you can prove it, it's a lie. You cannot prove it. If you say God can do all things, then you don't need to do anything. Let God do all things. Let us see. He cannot. Then that's what brought me to the New Testament, Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. He said, we know that all things work together. He said, we know that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Think about it. If God is able to do all we ask or think, then God don't need the power that works in us. God don't need us to do anything. God's supposed to do everything we ask or think. Not you doing part of it and saying it is the work of God. It is the Lord's doing. Why it is not? There is nothing in this world that is the Lord's doing, including what you believe to be creation. God created nothing. God cannot create anything. If you believe that God created the world, let God create anything today to prove he did. He cannot. So they tell you they know. They don't know anything. Just as they don't know the God they worship. They don't know the Jesus they serve. They say they know that God is able. And when you say God is able, you have disabled yourself. You didn't hear that. The moment you begin to believe that God is able to do anything, you have declared that you are unable to do anything. And your effort and your success will be ascribing it to God. You say, yeah, God has done it. It is God. If not for God, I would have not graduated. God is the one that gave me strength to do this. God is the one that made it possible. You cannot prove those things are claims, not proofs. They are not factual. You cannot prove them. Say, God is able. Stop disabling yourself by faith or with faith. Anytime you operate in faith, you are disabling yourself. You are stripping yourself of your power and giving it to an imaginary being that is useless in reality. God is useless in reality. You are useful. We are useful. We can do anything we imagine to do, not God. Say God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all we ask. No, God cannot do anything. Your life is evidence that God cannot do anything. Anyone that tells you that God has done anything is just lying and claiming God is doing it. God is not doing anything. It is people that are doing stuff. All right? So he said God is able to do exceedingly. God cannot even do anything, not to talk of exceedingly, abundantly. No, he cannot. He does not exist. Cannot. The air is better than God. At least the air can make you feel better. God cannot do anything. The second one, he said, according to what we ask or think. Ask or think. You see, we are the one that is doing the thinking. You're supposed to think. You have to think. God will not do what you think. You are the one that will do what you think. That's what is in Genesis chapter 11, 1-6. Our ancestors, one day, without consulting any god, without consulting any goddess, without consulting any dead ancestor, they say, come, let us build ourselves cities. They build city and tower, tall tower. And the wicked ones, which represent God, said, what these people imagine to do, what they think to do, nothing will stop them. God cannot do what you think. You are the one that will do what you think. And God cannot do what you ask. You are the one that can do what you ask. When you are praying to yourself and pretending there is God in heaven. That's why you conclude that God has answered your prayer, and you go out there and walk to see that answer to your prayer. God is not doing anything. God cannot do anything. Whether you call it in spirituality, in religion, in reality, God cannot do anything. Period. You cannot prove that God has done anything for you or can do anything for you or doing anything for you. God cannot do anything. God is useless in reality. According to what you ask or think. You were not born to ask. You are born to think and do, not to ask and think and say God will do it. No. It's religion that wants you to be asking and thinking and let the will of God be done. Which God? It is your will that must be done, and you must be part of the one working that. You must be the one. You must be the first person to bring that your will into fruition. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you prophesy. It doesn't matter what you dream. If you cannot bring it into reality, it's useless. You are the God that will bring it into reality. You are the creator you are looking for. God simply means one or something that creates things. It doesn't mean any deity. It doesn't mean any imaginary being in heaven or in anywhere or in your heart. There's no God in anyone. Unless you are talking about your mind. Remember what he said? He said, according to what we what? Ask or think. It is the mind they call God. They took your mind and tell you there is God in the heaven. This is the heaven they are talking about. That's why this place is called temple. God is in the temple. God, the mind is the God. That's why you dream. That's why you make whatever you see that exists in reality started in the mind. That is the origin of creation. The mind. Come on, wake up, my people. It is not God doing anything. How can you get married? They say it is God. You see a woman you like or a man you like, and you decided to get married to them, and you say it is God. You have sex to have children. You have children. You say it is God. It is bullshit they taught us. We are the one that are doing the thinking, and we're supposed to be doing too. So if you can think it, do it. And if you can, you don't need to ask anyone. You have to seek. Seek for people's help. Stop asking for help as beggars. It's beggars that ask. You are not a beggar. Slaves that ask. Slaves ask slave master, give me this, give me this day, my daily bread. Those bullshit. But the wise people, people that know themselves, they seek after knowledge and they do what they know because they think over it. They pondered over, they investigated it, and they become prudent, not believers. So the third one is said, according to the power that works in us. My brothers and sisters, the woke nation, there is power that works in us, not in any God, not in any Jesus. That power is the power of your mind. That power is the power of your might. It is in the Bible before the New Testament. He said that whatever your hand find to do, if you are living abroad, it is your hand that take you there. It's not God. Whatever you are doing to earn a living or to make a living, it is your hand that is making it, not any God. According to the power that works in us. What power works in us? The power of the mind. Power to think. The brain power. That's what separates people that are making it and the people that are not making it. The power of the mind. Look at the poor countries and the rich countries. The power of the mind. People that can think, invent things. People that can think, develop things. People that can think, come up with better idea for a better living. But people that cannot think but believing and asking, oh God, do this, oh God, do that, they remain on their knees and you cannot go far on your knees. What can you do on your knees unless begging? But when you stand on your feet, you can do things. You have the mind and you have the will and the power to make things happen. God cannot do anything. I know that, not I believe that. I know that God cannot do anything. And there's no such thing as God's purpose for anyone. If you are suffering, you are suffering. God has no plan for you. You have to begin to make plan for yourself and begin to do something to better your life. Wake up, my people. They have deceived us enough. They have lied to us enough. Look at the current event and educate yourself. Where is your God during coronavirus? Where was your God when they locked down government and countries? Where was God? You're supposed to ask yourself this question and come up with a reasonable answer. God is useless in reality. It doesn't matter who is angry at you. It doesn't matter who is angry to hear that. They can call you names all they want, but the fact is still remain that God is useless in reality. He cannot do anything, or she cannot do anything. We are the one making things happen. Look at the American president going on right now. All the prayers, all the bullshit, it is people's vote that count, not people's prayer, not people's God, not people's wish, not people's bragging and all that bullshit. No. You call it democracy, it is people's vote, period. You say don't count, you are lying. They must count it, and the winner must emerge. It's not third world country where you can carry gun and begin to do bullshit. And you're supposed to know that when people are fed up, people are fed up. You cannot change the mind of the people when they're fed up. That's why you see, even when the bad person have people follow him, that person can do a lot of harm to people. But when good people also merge and say, this is what we need, this is what we want, and that's what will happen, the wicked one will not triumph. The reason why the wicked one are triumphant in any part of this world is because the good ones, the wise ones, are afraid. They don't want to speak up. At least begin to speak up. We speak the truth to empower ourselves. It's not you want me to give you money to empower you. Bullshit. Money will keep enslaving you. Money is just like God. You don't need money from me. You need the truth from me. I am speaking the truth to empower you. I am speaking the truth to provoke you to begin to think. If you can think, you will stop thinking. And when you think well, you will live well because you will begin to think. Listen, I'm the one that have been doing this. Where is this God all this while? And I keep saying that this God. You will find out it was out of fear and ignorance that you keep believing there is God. Faith is based and thrives on fear and ignorance. Where there is boldness, where there is knowledge, faith disappears, belief disappears. That likewise the chains holding you, the mental slavery, all of them will disappear the moment you begin to be bold about the knowledge of factual truth. No devil can stop you. No God can stop you. No angel can stop you. No demon can stop you. No man can stop you. No woman can stop you. Even if they kill you, you are coming back to continue because you are eternal. Wake up, my people, and stop believing. Start knowing. It's time you begin to think and stop asking, oh God, come. Oh Jesus, yeah. They are useless. God and Jesus are useless in reality, but you are useful. I am useful. That's why I make this video and you are watching it because we are useful. God cannot watch it. God cannot make it. I am God, you are God. That means we have ability to create things. What we want, what we need, we can create it without God's permission, without seeking any God. God is useless to all of us in reality. Let us begin to tell ourselves the truth so that we can wake up to our real truth and enjoy our lives. Life is good. It's I'm going to work now. God cannot work for me. He cannot work for you. We are the one doing the work. And I see you doing your good work.